Welcome to CINEPRO, where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps, hidden details, and everything you missed. The movie starts with Brooke, which is transformed into a hybrid creature capable of controlling zombies with her mind. She roams the forest, encountering two sisters named Maxie and Grace. Brooke attacks soldiers sent to stop her, but she retaliates, injuring Grace. Barry quickly intervenes, giving Grace a blood vial to drink. Once she drinks it, she calms down completely. But Grace still doesn't trust them and draws her bow to strike. Barry catches the arrow with his hand. After some insults and calling them savages, Maxie and Grace gather themselves and leave. Meanwhile, Reese wakes up in his military base and starts his day as if it were a game. He trains, takes his dose of the cure, and dons his suit, readying his weapons. As soon as he steps outside, zombies attack him, and he opens fire, taking them down. After a while, he notices zombies around the perimeter fence but acts as if he doesn't see them. He checks on the zombies he has tied to machines powering the generators at the base. He feeds them meat to keep them moving and breathing, which keeps his machines running. This man even trains by punching zombies as if they were punching bags. Later, he throws a piece of meat to lure zombies away, clearing his path to get into his armored vehicle and setting off. Through the car radio, the army sends him a message about a new hybrid they want him to capture. He gears up immediately. As soon as the hybrid appears, Reese strikes, stopping and capturing it, then delivers it to the underground military base where they are conducting experiments. They also take zombies from his vehicle to the lab through a special tunnel. The commanding general explains to Reese that they know Brooke's location and want him to bring her in for experimentation. But for Reese, it's personal, because she is the one who killed his brother. He also wants more doses of the cure. Suddenly, the general's hand starts moving strangely, but he brushes it off as just a muscle spasm. Elsewhere, Maxie and Grace are fleeing in their car, but Grace, bitten during the conflict, is in unbearable pain and starts transforming into a zombie. Maxie quickly gives her a blood vial to calm her down and keeps another vial as a backup. At that moment, their car explodes. The car flips from the blast, and Maxie is knocked unconscious. The person responsible for this is none other than Reese, who approaches to capture them. Reese throws a grenade at them, but luckily he has a shield to protect himself. He uses it to his advantage as Maxie attacks him with a bat and weapon. When her bullets run out, Reese strikes her twice, knocking her out, and takes her with him in his vehicle, unaware that Maxie is following behind. Meanwhile, in the lab, it is revealed that the insane general is using horrifying methods in his experiments. He electrocutes a subject, inserts a metal rod into their brain, extracts fluids, and injects them into himself. The man is infected with the virus and uses these injections as a temporary cure to prevent his transformation. Suddenly, the door opens, and a colonel and soldier enter. The soldier tries to apprehend him, but the colonel pulls out a gun and shoots the soldier. It turns out that the colonel is also infected and in on the doctor's twisted experiments. Back to Reese, who is driving his vehicle when Grace wakes up and wraps her leg around his neck, beginning to transform. He pushes her away and grabs his weapon, but she drinks a blood vial and calms down. Reese, however, doesn't trust her and immediately knocks her out. They reach the lab, and the soldiers try to restrain Grace, but she fights back, taking them down one by one until a soldier pins her to the ground. On the verge of losing control, Reese gives her another blood vial to calm her before they take her into the lab. Reese then leaves in his vehicle, but it stalls and won't move. He checks the zombie powering it and finds it disconnected. He throws it out and tries to lure another zombie with meat to power the vehicle. A zombie takes the bait, but Maxie secretly sneaks into the vehicle unnoticed. Reese reaches a military warehouse where they have an automatic machine gun powered by zombie energy, shooting at any nearby creature. The staff give Reese a box to deliver to the lab. Maxie hides under the vehicle to avoid being seen. At the lab, Grace wakes up and is horrified to learn that the people being experimented on are literally dying in the process. The mad doctor, who had been asleep, suddenly finds his hands moving uncontrollably. He tries to regain control and tapes them together to calm the spasms before continuing his experiments. After finishing his dose of the experimental serum, Reese returns to his base before sunset. He throws some meat outside to distract the zombies from the gate and enters safely. If they try to return, he flashes a bright spotlight to scare them off. Once inside, he opens the delivery box from the military, finding strange, alien-like tools. He decides to relax and listens to a relaxation tape. Suddenly, the power goes out. He rushes to fix the generator, but upon returning to his room, he is shocked to find Maxie, who knocks him out. The next day, Reese wakes up tied up, with Maxie standing over him armed. She orders him to take her to Grace. She forces him into the vehicle and makes him crash through the gate instead of opening it. On the road, Reese waits for the right moment, then pulls Maxie's trigger, throwing her out of the vehicle. He strikes her with a hammer, ties her up again, and continues his journey confidently. They reach the lab, where the mad doctor is busy experimenting on a new hybrid. The colonel assigns a soldier to pull Maxie from the vehicle, coldly stating that she should be disposed of. Reese feels something is wrong and questions the colonel, who dismisses him with a single phrase, "Leave now." Reese pretends to head back to his vehicle, but suddenly gathers his weapon and shoots everyone, including the colonel, rescuing Maxie and escaping with her in his vehicle. All of this is observed by Grace through the lab security cameras. Shortly after, a military vehicle chases them, firing shots like in an action movie. Reese struggles but activates his vehicle's booster, speeding away. However, the military vehicle also has the same system and catches up. Maxie leans out of the vehicle, preparing to retaliate. Before they hit them, the car explodes, and Reese passes out. He wakes up to find himself tied to a tree, and the colonel standing at a distance shooting at him for amusement. With the sound of approaching zombies, the colonel and his men leave him behind as prey. Zombies surround him from every direction as he tries to use all his training to lift his legs away from them. But exhaustion takes over, his legs give out, and the zombies close in. Suddenly, everyone freezes as Maxie returns with Barry and Brooke, who controls the zombies with her mind. Reese passes out again and later wakes up tied to Barry's base, where Brooke has her own zombie army. Barry scolds him for what he did to Grace, but Maxie intervenes, telling Barry that Reese saved her. Barry decides to let him live temporarily, but Brooke, still furious, jumps on him, pins him to the ground, and threatens him. Reese gives in, saying, "I'll work with you." The next day, they head to the warehouse, and Reese begins to reveal everything about the security system there. He explains that he didn't know they were killing the test subjects. If he had known, he never would have brought them. Brooke becomes agitated but calms down when Barry hands her a vial of blood. Brooke then uses her powers to control the zombie holding the ammunition, who immediately grabs his weapon and takes down the guards at the door. The team enters with the help of the zombies, taking control of everyone inside. Reese is horrified to find the man he brought in days ago mutilated in a barrel. His blood boils, and he attacks the scientist, screaming until he learns that the mad doctor grinds the bodies after extracting their fluids to create a cure. Reese loses his mind, shoots the scientist, punches Barry, and demands, "Take me to the lab. We need to burn it down." After some time, they reach the lab and find Brooke captured. They send 3 zombies into the vent as if they're new test subjects. 3 soldiers emerge, but Brooke activates her powers, and the zombies attack the guards. They set off 2 bombs. At that moment, Reese opens a door, and Maxie steps out of the screen. The entire team opens fire on the soldiers, taking them down. The colonel, watching everything through the cameras, tries to shut the main door, but Barry hacks the system and jams it. They send in zombies covered in explosives to finish the cleanup. Maxie follows them through the tunnel, while Brooke, Barry, and Reese enter through the security door. Maxie finds a ventilation opening, crawls through it, and reaches the camera room. She kills the operator and opens all the internal doors. The team delves deeper into the lab, killing more soldiers and releasing more zombie cages. Brooke senses that Grace is behind the last door, but it's still locked. Reese fumbles with the control panel but eventually opens it. By mistake, he knocks Barry into the safe. Brooke sends zombies towards the scientist, but the door closes behind them. It turns out to be a trap by the mad doctor, who unleashes a zombie monster connected to a controlling device. Brooke sends her zombies to attack it, but the monster overpowers them easily. Reese intervenes, but the monster quickly overpowers him and is about to finish him off. Suddenly, the mad surgeon's mechanical arm starts moving on its own, revealing that Grace is controlling it remotely. She makes the arm repeatedly punch the surgeon in the face. Since the cyborg is connected to the device, it starts attacking itself. Brooke seizes the moment and blows the monster's head off. Grace also controls 2 zombies to attack the surgeon, making the arm strangle him. But with his other hand, the surgeon grabs an electric rod and shocks Grace, knocking her unconscious. The cyborg gets back up and pins Brooke against the wall. At that moment, the colonel enters with Maxie as a hostage and orders Barry and Reese to drop their weapons. He shoots Maxie and severely injures Barry. Reese activates the safe that previously hit the colonel, and they start fighting hand to hand. The colonel knocks Reese down and Barry tries to crawl towards a weapon, but the colonel notices, grabs him, and tortures him. Barry headbutts him, and Reese jumps back into the fray. The colonel knocks Reese down again and starts beating him, but Barry saves him by hitting the colonel with the safe once more. The colonel doesn't give up and prepares to attack Reese, but Brooke cuts an electric wire, electrocuting the cyborg, causing a short circuit and a power outage. The colonel fires blindly, and the emergency power kicks in. Suddenly, Maxie appears beside him and blows his head off. The surgeon tries to call for backup, but the team regroups with Brooke, who has lost control and attacks Maxie. Maxie runs and locks herself in a cage, while the others close the doors. They discover that all the blood vials are broken, but luckily, there's a fridge full of blood bags. Barry opens the door, gives Brooke a long-range shot, and Reese rushes in, slipping on the blood. He reaches the fridge too late. Brooke has already been bitten. Barry pushes her away as Maxie splashes a blood bag on her face, finally calming her down. They continue their escape, only to find that the surgeon has fled through a secret tunnel with Grace. At that moment, a bomb he had planted explodes, injuring everyone but leaving no fatalities. Reese spots on the cameras that the surgeon is escaping with reinforcements. Suddenly, the screen goes black, and the computer announces the lab's self-destruction. All doors close, leaving them with 30 seconds. Barry begins to turn into a zombie, and Brooke quickly comes up with a plan. She connects Barry to the computer, using his circuits as fuel to power the system. Reese and Maxie climb into the escape pod, and Barry activates the system, launching them out before the lab explodes. The heroes escape, but Barry and Brooke perish. Reese finds a motorcycle attached to a zombie, feeds the zombie a soldier's corpse, and starts the motorcycle. Meanwhile, the surgeon and his men reach Reese's base, searching for the device. They tie Grace to a table, connect the device to her nose, and inject her blood into themselves. One of the soldiers grows suspicious, revealing a bite mark on his arm. Ignoring protocol, the surgeon transforms into a hybrid and devours both of them. When Reese and Maxie arrive, they find Grace barely alive. Maxie breaks down, mourning her, but the surgeon ambushes Reese, knocking him out. He drags Maxie into a cage, locking her up, and starts mocking Reese for not suspecting him all this time. Reese tries to fight back, but the surgeon overpowers him, pinning him to the ground and preparing to crush his skull. Grace regains consciousness and stabs the surgeon with a metal shard, using her remaining strength to tear him apart. After finishing him off, she tries to attack Reese but notices a blood bag in his pocket. She drinks it, calms down, and reunites with her sister. Reese realizes the surgeon is still alive despite being torn apart, so he shoots him in the head, ending him for good. Reese begins coughing and holds the cure, but he remembers all the disasters that happened. He decides to end it all, raising his weapon to his head, but Grace stops him, saying, "Take it, so you can keep fighting with us and cleanse yourself with our help." Don't forget to tell us your opinion in the comments, like, and subscribe so you can receive